Hello everyone, myself Anshpreet Singh, and in this presentation we will be briefly discussing about the topics abstraction and interface. We will also be doing the live coding to have a even better understanding of abstraction and interface. Coming on to the table of the contents, we will be discussing the topic abstraction, interface, and at last we will have a look on the table visualizing differences and similarities between the abstraction and interface. Let's get started with the abstraction part. So, what is abstraction? Abstraction is a concept in C hash that allows us to focus on the essential features while hiding the unnecessary details. Abstraction acts as a template or blueprint for the subclasses, providing a defined structure and common behavior that derived classes can inherit and extend. The relationship between abstraction and encapsulation is crucial for building modular and maintainable code. Encapsulation enables us to group related data and methods within a class, ensuring data protection and controlling access to it. On the other hand, abstraction complements encapsulation by providing a higher level view of the system, hiding the internal complexities, and allowing us to work with abstracted concepts. By extracting common behavior and characteristics into abstract representations, we can reuse them across multiple parts of our codebase, saving time and effort. In this way, abstraction promotes the code reusability. Let's discuss the important points about abstract classes. Abstract classes in C hash provide a way to define a common structure and behavior that can be inherited by the derived classes. An abstract class cannot be used directly. It serves as a blueprint for creating derived classes. Abstract classes can include both abstract and non-abstract methods and properties. Abstract methods are declared without an implementation and must be overridden by the derived class. Now, a question arises, what are abstract and non-abstract methods? Coming on to the abstract methods, these methods serve as a placeholders that must be implemented by the derived classes or classes that implement the respective interface. To use the abstract methods in the subclasses, the overridden keyword must be used. The example for the abstract method is given below. Now, coming on to the non-abstract methods, these methods provide the actual implementation of the method within a class. They define specific behavior or functionality, and these methods can be called directly and contribute to the overall functionality of a class. The example for the same is given below. Now let's have a look on the syntax for the abstract classes. We first have to define the access modifier, which in this case is public, followed by the abstract and class keyword, followed by the class name. Now, inside the abstract class, we first have to declare the abstract method or the regular method. Here you can see the abstract method which has not any method implementation. Down here you can see a regular method. We can also say it as the non-abstract method which can have the method implementation. Now let's dive into our VS Code for the practical example of the abstraction. Now let's have a look on the concepts of abstraction in the practical mode. We will first need to declare an abstract class. The syntax for the abstract class is that we will first need to specify the access modifier followed by the abstract and class keyword followed by the class name. Now let's declare an abstract class. First I am using the public access modifier followed by the abstract and class keyword followed by the class name. Let it be details. Now, inside our abstract class, we can declare both abstract and non-abstract methods. For those who don't know about the abstract methods are those which does not require the function declaration. So now let's declare an abstract method. The syntax for the abstract method is that we will first need to declare the access modifier followed by the abstract keyword followed by the method name. Let it be void name. Now, as you can see, it does not show any error. But if we try to declare this abstract function, it will show an error. You can also see the compiler also tells us the this function cannot declare a body because it is marked as abstract. Now let's declare another method which is to be a non-abstract method. For non-abstract method, there is no need to declare the abstract keyword. We simply need to write the public void. Let it be public void age. I'm using console.writeLine. My age is now I am also giving an argument that is int age, which is to be given by the user. Now let's declare the subclass. Let it be class test. Now we will need to inherit the abstract class, that is details. The method to inherit the base class uh, to the subclass is that we will need to use the colon sign followed by the class to be inherited. In this case, we need to inherit the abstract class, that is details. Now to use the abstract method, we will need to use the keyword override. Let's take a look how we can use the abstract method in our base class. Now we will need to declare the whole abstract method inside our subclass. So let's declare show any error because we have used the keyword override. But if we will not use the keyword override, it will show us an error. Coming on to the main of our program, we will first need to declare an object for our subclass. Now to access the methods of our subclass, we will be using the dot operator. Now it is showing an error because I have not declared an argument because in the abstract class I have used the argument int age, which is to be given by us as a user. So let's give an argument, let it be 18. Now let's check the output of our program. As you can see, we got an output. It does not show any error. So the output for the my name is Sahaj is the output for the abstract method, which is overridden by us in our subclass, and the output my age is 18 is the non-abstract method of our abstract class details. Let's add another abstract method for the better understanding. Let it be public abstract int roll number. I'm also giving an argument that is int x, which is also to be given by the user. Now, to use this, as I have told you earlier, to use the abstract method of our abstract class, we will need to use the override keyword inside our subclass. Now, to access this method in our main, we will need to Again, use the dot operator. As you can see, we also got an output for our another abstract method, that is roll number. I hope you understood the concepts for the abstraction. Let's have a brief overview of the topic interface, that is the second part of our presentation. So, what is interface? Abstraction and interface are very similar to each other, but we will have a look on its similarities and differences at last of the presentation. Coming on to the definition of interface, interfaces in C hash defines a contract or a set of methods and properties that a class must implement. They provide a way to achieve abstraction and define a common behavior that can be shared across multiple classes. Interfaces provide many advantages, on which first is loose coupling. Interfaces promote loose coupling between classes, allowing us for flexible and modular code. By relying on interfaces, classes can interact without directly depending on each other's implementations. Multiple inheritance like behavior. Interfaces provide a way to achieve multiple inheritance behavior in C hash. A class can implement multiple interfaces, enabling it to inherit and implement the behavior defined by each interface. Enhanced code extensibility. Interfaces make it easier to extend and enhance existing code. New classes can implement existing interfaces, ensuring compatibility and facilitating code reuse. Let's have a look on the important points about interface. Interfaces in C hash define a contract that classes can implement, specifying a set of methods, properties, and events. Interfaces enable achieving abstraction and defining common behavior that can be shared among multiple classes. Interface can also include both abstract and non-abstract methods and properties. Multiple interfaces can be implemented by a class, allowing for achieving multiple inheritance-like behavior in C hash. Coming on to the syntax for interface, we first declare the access modifier, which in this case is public, followed by the keyword interface, followed by the interface name. Now, inside the interface, we can declare the abstract method, which has no implementation, followed by the properties, and at last we can also declare the non-abstract method inside the interface, which can have the implementation details. Let's dive into our VS Code for the practical example of the interface. I hope you understood the concepts of abstraction. Now, moving further, let's take a look on the concepts of interface. Now, we will first need to declare an interface. The syntax for the same is we will first need to declare the access modifier, which in this case is public, followed by the interface name. Let it be details. Now, inside our interface, we can declare both abstract and non-abstract methods. But if we declare a method, it by default is an abstract method. Let's declare a method. Let it be public void name. Now, if you will use the abstract keyword inside the interface, it will make a no it will make no effect, as all the methods inside our interface are automatically taken as the abstract method. As you can see, it does not show any error. Now let's declare another abstract method. Let it be public void age. Now moving further, let's declare the subclass. Let it be class test. Let's inherit our interface, that is details. Now we will need to declare the abstract methods that are declared in our interface. Let's uh, public void name. Now coming on to the main of our program, we will first need to declare an object for our subclass that is test. Now to access the methods of our subclass, we will need to use the dot operator. Let's check the output for her. As you can see, we got an output. Uh, the my name is Sahaj is the output for our abstract method of our interface that is void name, and followed by the my age is 18, which is the also the abstract method of our interface that is public void age. So the another thing is that in interface we need not to override our methods in our subclasses. If you use the override keyword, it will show an error. Now, as I have told you earlier, that a class can inherit multiple interfaces. So let's take a look. Let's create another interface. Let it be public interface college. Let's define the abstract method inside our another interface that is college. Let it be public void school. Now we can also, as I had told you, that we can inherit the multiple interfaces. So let's inherit our another interface that is college. Now we will need to declare our abstract method of our college interface that is public void school. Now to access the method school method, we will need to use the dot operator test dot school followed by a semicolon. Now let's see if it works. Now as you can see, we also got an output for our another interface that is college. The output for the same is my college name is. Now let's try to declare a non-abstract method inside our interface. Let it be public void Sahaj. Now, if we want to get an output for the our non-abstract method that is Sahaj, we will need to change the object. We will need to change the class name of for our object that is we will need to specify the class that contains the
definition of the non-abstract method. In this case, the method is Sahaj and it is in the details interface. Now, if we want to access that method, if we try to access that method, test.sahaj, now it is showing an error. The reason is being that the test subclass, it does not contains the definition for a non-abstract method that is Sahaj. But if we want to get an output for our Sahaj method, we will need to change the class name that is to be changed by the class name which contains the actual definition for our Sahaj abstract method, non-abstract method. In this case, the class is details. So let's try to access it. Now, if you do the desired changes and if we try to get the output, you will get an output for our non-abstract method that is Sahaj, as you can see. But the drawback is that uh, you cannot you no longer can access the another methods of our interfaces. Like in this case, we are getting an error for our school method, which is which is a method of our another interface that is college. The reason is being that uh, the details the details interface does not contains the definition for our school. As you can also see the definition, details does not contain a definition for school and no longer accessible extension. So if you want to now if now you want to access the school method, you need to change again. You will require to change the class name again, that is to be changed by the name of the class that contains the definition of our school. In this case, it is test. Now, as you can see, there is no longer error in this line, but the error shifted it to the another line that is Sahaj. The reason is same. Now, the test class does not contain the definition for a Sahaj method. But to fix the this, you can simply cut the non-abstract method from the interface, and you can directly put it into the test class, which contains the definition for both the details and college. Now, as you can see, it does not so contain it is any always recommended to use the you use the only the abstract methods inside the interface. Or let's see the output. Now, as you can see, all of our methods are working, even the interfaces methods are working. I hope you understood the concept of the interface. Thank you.
Now, for the third part of the presentation, we will have a look at the table visualizing the differences and similarities between abstraction and interface. Let's have a look on the similarities between abstraction and interface. Coming on to the abstraction, the purpose of abstraction is that it manages the complexity by hiding the implementation details. On the other hand, interface defines a contract for implementing classes. For the implementation part, abstraction can be achieved through abstract classes, whereas interface can be implemented by classes using the interface keyword. Both abstraction and interface cannot be used directly. For the inheritance part, abstraction supports single inheritance, whereas interface supports multiple inheritance-like behavior. Coming on to the differences between abstraction and interface. For the code reusability part, abstraction provides code reuse through inheritance, whereas interface provides code reuse through implementing multiple interfaces. For the method override, abstraction can override methods of the base class, whereas interface must implement all methods of the interface. Abstraction represents an is a relationship, whereas interface represents can do relationship. Abstraction can have constructors, whereas interface cannot have constructors. For the members part, abstraction can have abstract, virtual, and non-virtual methods, whereas interface only contains method, property, event, and indexer declarations.